What makes a president truly great? Is it their ability to lead in a time of war? Their vision for the nation's future? Or the legacy they leave long after the speeches end and the crowds are gone? To build this ranking, we evaluated each president using three essential factors: leadership in crisis, measuring their effectiveness in navigating national or global emergencies; vision and reform, based on their long-term influence on domestic policy, justice, or innovation; and public impact, reflecting how deeply they inspired, united, or changed the lives of Americans. Each category is scored from 1 to 3 stars, and the total determines their place in this exclusive list. Throughout American history, over 40 men have held the highest office in the land, but only a select few have reshaped the country and the world through sheer leadership, innovation, and moral clarity. Today, we're counting down the top 5 greatest U.S. presidents of all time, and some names might surprise you. Coming in at number 5, John F. Kennedy. Though his presidency lasted just over 1,000 days, JFK left a mark that has outlived generations. From standing toe-to-toe with the Soviet Union during the Cuban Missile Crisis to laying the foundation for civil rights legislation and launching the Apollo space program, Kennedy embodied bold, youthful leadership. His calm navigation of nuclear brinkmanship earns him 2 stars in leadership in crisis. For vision and reform, he scores 2 stars again. His domestic agenda was cut short, but his legacy pushed future leaders toward progress. In public impact, however, Kennedy shines with 3 stars. His speeches, charisma, and idealism inspired an entire generation to believe in something bigger than politics. At number 4 is Thomas Jefferson. The principal author of the Declaration of Independence and the nation's 3rd president, Jefferson was a man of many contradictions, but also of immense vision. He doubled the size of the United States with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, sending Lewis and Clark westward and planting the seeds of a continental power. Jefferson earns just 1 star in leadership in crisis. He was more philosopher than wartime strategist. But in vision and reform, he scores 3 stars for his contributions to American democracy, education, and secular governance. For public impact, Jefferson takes 2 stars. His ideals of liberty still shape political discourse today, even if his personal legacy remains complex. Sliding into number 3, Barack Obama. Elected in 2008 during the worst economic downturn. Since the Great Depression, Obama became the first African-American president and a global icon of hope and progress. His passage of the Affordable Care Act expanded healthcare access to over 20 million Americans. And his leadership during crises like the H1N1 pandemic, the killing of Osama bin Laden, and the auto industry bailout demonstrated steady, pragmatic control. He earns 3 stars in leadership in crisis. For vision and reform, 2 stars. His policies on climate, healthcare, and diplomacy reshaped the agenda, though many remain contested. In public impact, he also earns 2 stars, with historic approval ratings and enduring influence both at home and abroad.
And hey, if you're enjoying this dive into the greatest presidents in American history, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Your support keeps this channel alive and thriving.
At number 2, Franklin D. Roosevelt. The only president elected to 4 terms, FDR led the United States through 2 of the gravest challenges in modern history: the Great Depression and World War II. With the New Deal, he redefined the role of the federal government in people's lives, creating Social Security, banking protections, and public jobs programs that laid the foundation for the modern welfare state. In World War II, he became the face of the Allied resistance to fascism. FDR earns a full 3 stars in leadership in crisis, another 3 in vision and reform, and 2 in public impact. His fireside chats brought calm into American homes, and his leadership still influences every president that followed. And finally, at number 1, Abraham Lincoln. No American president has faced a greater internal crisis, and no one has emerged more revered. Elected at a time when the nation was tearing itself apart, Lincoln preserved the Union, abolished slavery, and redefined what America could and should be. From the Emancipation Proclamation to the Gettysburg Address, his words and actions reshaped the soul of the nation. Lincoln earns 3 stars in leadership in crisis, guiding a fractured country through its bloodiest war. 3 more in vision and reform, foreseeing a moral purpose in unity and equality. And 2 stars in public impact, hated by many in his time, but now almost universally admired as the soul of American democracy. But Lincoln's greatness doesn't stop there. He led not only with political skill, but with unmatched emotional intelligence. His empathy for soldiers, families, and even his political enemies gave him a moral gravity rarely seen in any leader. Lincoln wasn't driven by ambition alone. He was burdened by the weight of the nation's suffering and was determined to heal its wounds. He navigated constitutional crises, suspended habeas corpus to preserve order, and faced constant criticism from all sides. Yet through all the turmoil, he stayed grounded in the belief that America must live up to its ideals. He read widely, wrote prolifically, and often consulted the people directly. His wit and humility made him deeply human, even as he carried the immense burden of war and unity on his shoulders. His assassination cut short what could have been an even more transformative Reconstruction era. But even in death, Lincoln's influence only grew. His legacy is so profound that every president who came after has in some way measured themselves against him. From memorials to movies to moments in classrooms across the country, Lincoln remains a moral compass and a symbol of resilience. To this day, he represents not just the power of the presidency, but the power of principled leadership. His story is a reminder that in the darkest hours, courage and compassion can still lead a nation to light. So what do these 5 leaders have in common? They rose when the nation needed them most. They brought vision where there was confusion, courage where there was fear, and conviction where there was division. History may debate policies and politics, but leadership that echoes through time is what truly defines greatness. These presidents didn't just sign bills or give speeches. They changed the course of history. They weren't perfect, and their actions were often controversial, but their ability to steer the country through crisis and inspire future generations is undeniable. When we think about greatness in leadership, we're reminded that titles don't make legends. Decisions do. Each of these men, in their own way, stood at a crossroads in history and chose a path that elevated the nation. Their legacies invite us to ask more of our leaders and of ourselves. What kind of vision are we following? What kind of courage are we cultivating? What kind of impact are we making? Their stories also show us that leadership is often lonely, that greatness comes at a cost, and that history doesn't wait for comfort. It demands character. In the end, the greatest presidents are not those who avoided conflict, but those who met it head-on and emerged as beacons of hope, unity, and progress. And that's what makes them truly unforgettable.